Alright, what is God? You have to understand that every time I want to record an episode, I actually don't feel like it. And then I just sit down anyway and do it because the video is still rendering and what else is there to do? So I just do it. But it's also very important for me that you understand that recording these episodes also pisses me off. Not because I can't do it, because I can do it and I know I'm very good at it, but simply because I don't want to. I just want to do something else. I don't know, I want to go outside or I want to do all kinds of things, right? If I wouldn't have my kuripe, but I forgot it in the forest again. So it seems a bit like a stretch to go there, but maybe I'm going to go get it later. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go there in the dark. Who knows? But the point is, these kind of things, they drive me mad in a way, right? There are things I know I can do, but I try not to do them. I try not to do them because I think, I've done enough. But then I haven't. And then, what am I supposed to say about God? If you take God, it's just a word. Yeah? So you take the word God and you turn it around, and what is it then? It means dog. So what does that mean? Yeah, God is in dogs. That's what it means. And it also means that words cannot tell you what it is. Because to me, God is life. But what is life? Life is stuff happening. Life is a bit of chaos, and that's it. It's like random stuff. But how do we get meaning then, and why do I sit here and talk? Well, to somebody who doesn't understand the language that I'm speaking, what I'm saying makes no sense at all. Plus, any person who listens to what I'm trying to say here will understand something else. Now, there's all kinds of things that we can look at from the past, from history and stuff. And so, there's like the Tower of Babel. Where they say, well, it was like this, and then, God punished us because we tried to build a tower to heaven, and then he punished us and made us speak different languages. But that's actually not quite true because, I can understand people without language. But it's the clinging to language and to express what you want to say with language that actually creates all this confusion. You see, if you try to talk to a woman with words and try to explain to her how you feel, you might have a lot of miscommunication going on. Because she maybe wants to have sex with you, yeah, and communicate without words. And you're sitting around there like an idiot talking to her all this time, while all she wants is to sleep with you and to really connect. But you're sitting there and you're stuck there talking because you're insecure. So in that sense, it's not that we speak all different languages. It's that we're trying to express something that cannot be expressed with words, which is just like making your mouth in different kind of shapes and stuff and producing sound. And then you think people can understand what you say. But they actually don't, because every person understands something else when you say something. And when a woman wants to sleep with you and you keep talking to her, yeah, she might talk back and then she will just shout at you. That's the truth. That's just how it is, right? If you keep having arguments with your wife or your partner, maybe you should just stop talking and have more sex. I really mean that. So you asked me what God is. It makes no fucking sense. Because I don't know what God is. We talk about the singularity, yeah? It's like everything is one. I can see some sense in that because I can see myself in other people. So all I can go with is the stuff that I pick up when I see other people. Sometimes I spend time with another person and I really feel like we're the same thing. That's the closest thing I can get to oneness. Yeah, sometimes I really feel like if I spend too much time with other people, we get drawn into each other. It's like we're all the same, but we're also different. But if we spend too much time with each other, we get drawn into one another. And that's why we say, you should do psychedelics only in an environment where you feel good. Because if you feel bad in an environment, you will attract also these things into yourself. So if you do it with people that are unbalanced, you will attract parts of them into yourself when you open yourself with psychedelics in their presence. And so, what is God? There are people who think to know or believe or have the opinion that God is everything. That God is all of us together, and that we are all like conscious particles of that one God thing. But then the truth is also, you could see yourself as a facet of God. And I had this one experience once, now I'm settling down into talking. Jesus. Jesus is also something else. So if you think God is split apart, then God is trying to get back to each other. And for that, of course, I like to listen to Alan Watts, because he has some interesting ideas about what God is. But he's also a man of literature, so he has read a lot and studied a lot. You can also listen to Ramdas about this. Terence McKenna, not so much on that topic, I believe. But that's the only two I really ever listened to. But I try to really see God in everything, so I can see myself in a tree. I can literally stand there with a tree and feel like we're one. And that's a really great feeling. It's a really nice feeling. I really like doing that. It's also sometimes a bit unsettling, but it's when you realize, what's divine? Same thing, what's divinity? I think it's that kind of speck of light that we have all in each other. And if the sun isn't, maybe the sun is God. Who knows? That's kind of a romantic way of seeing it. Then the sun isn't just a hot ball of fire, that will explode one day. But then it's love. And then it's that what radiates divinity throughout, life. I don't like the word the universe or the galaxy, but you could just say it's radiating life, light through life. So I think all beings are sentient, all beings are conscious. There's people that say that a stone is conscious. I like that idea. Because when you think about it in that sense, and if you think that God is consciousness, so that would mean that God is everything at the same time. But if you would be everything at the same time, you wouldn't know how to be you at this moment. So you're an expression of divinity, you're an expression of beauty, and that can give you purpose, because then you can live your life in accordance with that idea that we are all one. And that would mean that you wouldn't try to destroy yourself. Because if you are part of that real high self, which is actually what you might connect with when you connect with the higher self, but just in general, this idea of separation, you are born into this world as a child, and then you're a manifestation of God, and then you feel like you've been separated from that, from the singularity, a black hole. They call it the singularity. We're all one, it's oneness, right? There's all kind of words that can teach you things about the world. But one thing for sure is that if you start expressing yourself more without words, you start realizing that there's much more to you than you thought. And that people don't understand you at all. Because, if I show the images that I draw to people, because that's me, that's a part of me, they don't understand it. They look at it and they think it's cute, but they don't see the meaning that I see in it. It's like pure emotion. You can say more with an image than with a whole page full of words. And that's why I like actually using images to express what I mean or feel. That's why sometimes looking at people makes more sense than talking to them. So God is creation. But creation also means death. And that means if God is one, then below that is duality. And that's why, God stands above male and female in that sense. And if you split God into two, you have male and female, and then you have good and bad, and then you have all kinds of hierarchies and, better and lower and higher and all that kind of stuff. But if you start connecting to that center, to that place of oneness, and then you become more conscious of the world that surrounds you, because you're not just focusing on yourself anymore, but also the world around you. And that's why people who have experienced oneness are generally more empathic to the beings around them. Because I've done psychedelics also in nature, I understand that other beings also feel. But a person who's only selfish, like the state in itself and politicians, they only feed themselves. Like they don't really care what happens to Mother Earth, because all they are concerned about making money. But of course, why are they concerned about making money? Because they also have family. So you cannot say they are purely selfish, because in a sense, it's maybe also selfless, because maybe they want to have money so that their children can have a good life. And that's just then, in that sense, it's also strong. So you cannot really blame people for doing what they do. It's just different priorities. But that doesn't mean you have to, allow them to keep doing that. Well, it depends on how much you can do about it, because in that sense, you are not God and you cannot do everything. And that's maybe also the idea behind it. If you see God as everything, but God splits itself apart, then nobody can say, I'm God and I'm gonna rule you all. It's actually, if you see it like this, then God would be like a parent figure that just looks over its creation without interfering with it.